Instead of being a single technology or a service, serverless is a number of components. Serverless is a host of solutions that we can use to build our application. And I would say that there are a number of pillars that form a serverless application. So the first one and the most important is called Function as a Service, or FaaS, and it allows us to write arbitrary code in a serverless fashion. We will talk about how it works later, but essentially we need to split our code into individual functions and deploy them to a platform to be executed. The main and the most famous product in this category is AWS Lambda from Amazon, but other providers have their products as well, including Google Cloud Functions and Azure Functions. If you want to use serverless-like technologies in your own data center, you can use this, and there are a number of products that allow you to do that. One of them is called OpenWhisk that you can research on your own. Well, in addition to executing code, we need to store our data somewhere, and there is a number of data stores that can be called serverless. One of them is called Amazon S3 that allows us to store arbitrary binary blobs. And if you think about it, Amazon S3 has been around for years, and it has been around even before the word serverless became mainstream. But it is serverless nonetheless. We don't pay for idle, we only pay for data that we store, and we don't need to manage servers when we use it. Another serverless data store is called Amazon DynamoDB, and it also has similar characteristics, but it can be used as a normal database, and we will use it later in this course. But not only Amazon is developing serverless data stores, other companies like Google is developing data stores like Firebase that is also serverless. In addition to storing data, it's important to send messages from one application to the other, and there are a number of serverless messaging solutions. For example, one of them is Amazon SQS, or a simple queue service. Another popular solution is called Amazon Kinesis, which provides a generic data streaming service that we will talk about later in this course. And again, not only Amazon is in the serverless game, Google and other providers are developing their solutions like Google PopsUp. And the last pillar I'll just call generically services. So those are just any services that provide us with some functionality where we don't need to manage servers. They include authentication, machine learning, video processing, big data, orchestration, and so on. And as you can see, there are a lot of different services that we can use to compose our application together. And again, we will use some of them in this course. Now, you may be wondering that when you are developing a serverless application, do you need to go 100% serverless and use only serverless components, or you can use them for just some parts of your application? And the answer is you can mix and match. So you can, of course, use just some serverless services. For example, you can use DynamoDB as a serverless database, but use EC2 instances to process users' requests. But you can also go 100% serverless, and the more serverless components you use, the more benefits you will get from using this technology. But again, it comes with some downsides that we will discuss later.